Hello, everybody, and welcome to this wonderful game of Netrunner. I'm Steven, and I'm joined by my good friend V to commentate on this game.
Howdy.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, so this game was taken from the second round of Swiss at the 2015 Regional Championships at the Dogs of War Game Store in Palm Bay, Florida. And who do we have playing at this table?
We have myself as Replicating Perfection and my opponent as Edward Kim. My opponent's actually Tuan. He's from my meta. So we played this matchup before.
And how did it go for you before? Did you say you played this at the Store Championship against each other?
Not at the Store Championship, just that, normal weekly game nights. Actually, at the game nights, he wrecked me pretty bad because he's playing 3 copies of Hacktivist Meeting, which RP really hates. If you don't get off to a really quick start to score an agenda and turn it off, it's really hard for you to make money as Replicating Perfection.
And Replicating Perfection isn't really known for its ability to just rush out agendas all the time.
Not typically, but I found over the course of this tournament, you can totally do it if you have to.
Well, yeah, because it really does, if you can get the remote set up, get something in it right away, it really also adds to that thing that people normally have where you got to go get your breaker, you have to install it, you have to have the money to get in. So even if you don't have all your standard replicating tools like your caprices, your ashes, you could probably still just choke them out with those, with the click efficiency that replicating takes away.
With just a Caprice and Ise and 1 piece of Taxing Ice, if your opponent isn't super duper rich and all set up, that's probably enough a lot of the time.
And with a lot of you start out with a celebrity gift first click. Looks like you've got some nice economy in your hand and some big pieces of ice.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because I know he has the Hacktivist, and like I just showed him, I have 2 mental health clinics.
Now, would you consider just installing them and just immediately flipping them?
I believe I end up doing that. So I did that over the tournament too, just so they couldn't flip the turn and play Hacktivist first click or anything.
Now you install over R&D.
Right.
Now that could be the pup. And then I guess you have a toll booth and a Susan. All right, drops Imp right away. That makes that HQ threat a little more
right. I wasn't worried before
scary.
Because I didn't have any more operations in my hand, but now with Imp, not too happy about him going in my hand, really.
All right, so he's getting access. Susan, I play Anarch. You got to get rid of that.
Yeah, they don't. I know Tuan's deck had just the fixed breakers and then Knight. So actually, I don't know if that would have been too bad for him, because Knight would break it pretty easily. But he decides that he throws down my worst fear, Hacktivist Meeting, and Katie Jones, and passes the turn. So now I'm like, oh god, it's happening.
And was this a 5-click turn for him?
Let's see.
Install Imp, play Hacktivist,
yeah, that
install
was
Katie
5
Jones,
clicks.
and what, Katie Jones?
Oh my goodness.
All right, so you'll have to have words with him next time you play it, next game night.
Yeah, I'll talk to him 2 months later and be like, ugh, should have lost right there.
Okay, so you got to get that over HQ.
Yeah, definitely.
Out on the board.
And I decided to just go for it and flip it immediately. I don't remember exactly what I lost, but I don't believe I had any agendas in my hand at this point, so I figured I better do it while I can.
Well, you had another mental health clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And you had another piece of ice, which it looks like you still have a piece in your hand.
That I can't really see, but I'm also thinking, I kind of need to bait him into using up those imp tokens. So I'm okay if he goes and, wastes 2 clicks to go and take care of the mental health. Though he decides not to and just bounce off Eli and click Katie Jones.
All right, so you would assume in your hand it had to be either the toll booth or the other mental health.
Yeah, I think I saw the toll booth there. I think I've decided, this is kind of when I figured out, I was like, you know what, maybe I've got a decent amount of burst econ here that I can probably just rush out. Because having played him before, I knew he didn't have a lot of answers for toll booth outside of Knight. And, on his turn, if I can get a toll booth Caprice server, he'd have to spend his first click playing Knight, second click hosting Knight, third click Central Run, fourth click win the Caprice side game, and have enough money to break the toll booth,
Yeah, 5 credits just for the toll booth. and then winning's Caprice, and then you obviously want to trash Caprice.
Sure.
And then there's always that fear that it's just an NAPD, which is no fun. So, yeah, Toll Booth continues to be just such a huge pain generally.
It's all my favorite. I think I generally have at least one in any kind of Glacier deck I have.
I was playing Engineering the Future at this tournament, and I was splashing Toll Booth, and they were getting wrecked because it seemed like every single game that I played was against stealth rigs.
Oh, yeah?
And Refractor really does some good work against it.
Yeah, but the thing about Toll Booth is no matter what, it's always 3, unless like they femme fatale it.
Yeah, out of Anarchy, you got to assume your best shot is probably Knight.
Or David.
Knight breaks a Toll Booth. David, yeah.
David will get you 3 breaks for, the 3 credits from the install of David, so I think that's really your best answer. I would rather play David nowadays than Knight.
Yeah, generally. I mean, there is the flexibility of Knight. Unfortunately, it's that constant Anarch thing where they get these great benefits, but there is a downside to it.
Right.
Looks like he's just checking archives just to see what's going on. Oh, and
that is, in fact, the Toll Booth. I believe that's probably Caprice Nisei behind the Toll Booth. And that's just the best feeling, is like when they face check a Toll Booth and don't have an answer and they lost 3 credits and they get nothing out of it.
And then you just have to feel sad because now there's a Toll Booth on the board.
And I just res Caprice now, see what she'll throw in the bin, and then kind of decide what to do from there.
All right, that's an interesting... It's an interesting thing to do. I do love Hacktivist. I always try to find space for it in all my Anarch decks. Just in some matchups, it doesn't do a whole lot, but in some, it's just like one of the game-changing cards.
Totally. I've been on the other side of it for sure. So here, I don't usually like to try to rush out like with that little money, but I'm just like, I need to turn off Hacktivist as soon as possible. Though what I didn't know is he has another Hacktivist in his hand right now.
Of course.
But I'm just like sitting there like, oh my god, first click, please don't be Knight.
I mean, you do have Caprice protecting, so...
Yeah, but I would really like to not play the side game if possible when I'm down to that many credits.
Well, it looks like he only has 3 credits right now.
That's true.
Too, so...
And he says to make him go to the mental health. So I'm going to go down to the 0 here, but I do score a Nisei, which is huge.
Yeah,
no, it's an NAPD. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Not what I wanted, but...
It's not as good.
I'm thinking, like, well, now I can build up at least and put a Sundew in there or something.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to see replicating on 0 credits, but I guess, you already have the 2 points out, you got rid of the Hacktivist, and you have some dice on the boards, and all taxing.
Yeah, I have a lot already invested in the board, and I'm just like, Hacktivist. I look back in my hand and like, oh, how bad is this?
So you got to assume that you're going to just kind of credit out here, or if you have another...
It's probably a 3-credit turn, unless I have a Sundew.
Yeah, Sundew, credit. Because, yeah, that Sundew is not going to be gotten rid of if it's in that Toll Booth server.
Right.
I mean, it's hard enough to, work just to get in there for an agenda, let alone... Oh, looks like just 3 credits, so...
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
It's always painful, but... So yeah, he's on, I believe, 6 credits now. Clicking some Armitage clicks, and...
the pup is taxing him pretty good.
He's a Jackson.
I think Jackson is pretty important for him to trash if he's relying on Hacktivist to be a real threat. Because otherwise you can just put Jackson down and you don't really care what you're throwing away. It even saves you from having to draw up and then discard with Jackson, because you can just discard with Hacktivist in a way.
But randomly.
Sure. But if you have a handful of agendas...
True. What's your agenda makeup in this deck?
In this deck, I decided to go the route of... There's kind of a couple different ways to do it now, but I ended up going with Fetal... And
how many
Future
Fetals?
Perfect. 1 Fetal, the 3 NAPD, the 3 Nisei, and then the 2 Future Perfect, I believe. How many is that?
I believe that's 20.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because Dan's championship deck actually ran 21 points worth of agendas, did it not?
Right, yeah, there's been a lot of debate, or at least around the time of the regionals, like, if you should go 3 Future Perfect and then like a Chronos, or if you should bring down down to 2 Future Perfect and then like another 2-pointer. And I decided to go that route just because in testing, there were so many games where the runner was on 6 points, and that makes them having to steal 4 agendas where I only have to score 3.
Yeah, that's nice. That's definitely true.
Stealing, 4 agendas against RP can be really expensive.
All right, so you pop Jackson here.
Mm-hmm.
You have a few face downs.
Celebrity
You have
guest and 2 face downs.
You have an interns kind of hovering above your archives here.
Yeah, what's up with that, huh?
I think you just put it there just to pull the Jackson out and just never put it back.
Could be.
Yeah, it's just I was so prepared. I was at this regional as well, and I was so prepared to deal with a lot of replicating perfection, and there was a ton of it on the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not face a single one.
That happened to me. I put Clot in my runner deck, but I played 0 NEH.
I also played 0 NEH. There was almost no NBN players.
Yeah, that's true. I think
that I
the
saw
first
the entire
place
tournament.
NBN player got like 9th or something.
Yeah, I played some Engineering the Future, so I dealt with some fast advance there, and I did not have Clot in my deck, which ended up being a little bit of an issue. And then I played a few Wayland decks. I played an Argus and a Gagarin, which are interesting matchups. But yeah, not a lot of NBN on the day that I saw. Maybe because people were just afraid of it because Clot had just came out.
Right.
I think Chrome City was released the week before.
Yeah, and I didn't get access to it until like 4 days before the tournament. I think everyone was pretty scared of it.
I didn't even have it at the tournament.
Yeah.
I hadn't got my copy yet. There was some kind of delay in the mail.
Yeah, I don't think I used any of the cards in Chrome City in my decks.
All right, so he's got a loaded up Katie, so he's got some money coming for him.
Yeah, we've just been kind of going back and forth. Me trying to get my money up high enough to like actually try to score, I believe.
Now, Ed Kim is an interesting runner to bring, especially against Replicating Perfection, which isn't crazy operation heavy.
Right, yeah,
You have your celebrity gifts. Maybe a few interns. Do you run the enhanced login?
I did a little while before testing, but just actually because of Hacktivist. But it was just so annoying. Like, it just works the other way. Where like I will play that, and then they'll play Hacktivist and get even more value from Hacktivist. So I just decided to go with an Ash for those 2 points of influence.
Of course. All right. So a knight comes on the board, and is that a Cortex lock?
A Cortex lock.
Oh, well, good time for the knight then.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, knight. Now he can, get into the remote and challenge that.
What happened to that imp?
I believe he trashed it when he installed knight.
Oh, okay. Possibly for some recursion.
Yeah, he might have deja vu or something. I play a side game for the Future Perfect, and I lose.
Well, it happens.
Yeah. It's interesting. Runners usually go 0, on that first Future Perfect on like a central axis, so I was like trying to go 1 there.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the side game, it's that whole game within the game where you have that idea where it's like, oh, well, they're going to know that I'm going to go 0, so they're not going to bid 0,
totally.
so I'm probably going to try this, but then, sometimes as a corporation you just bid 0 in that scenario.
Yeah, I actually got better at side games as the game went on, and I got more and more exhausted and just didn't think about them at all.
That's why I don't play it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I don't even participate in them when I'm playing against them. It's just keep it.
Just always betting 0.
Just always bet 0, yeah. I never have the money to do anything with it anyway, so... All right. Sees another card.
Looks like he got a celebrity gift with
trash.
Edward Kim. The ID finally mattered.
Well, and I mean, it's an interesting ID in the long run if you talk about... Now, see, all of this money is just going away.
Yeah, he just is breaking himself on R&D.
I mean, he's spent 13 credits this turn, I believe.
Yeah, I mean...
Because he's broken the Cortex Lock 3 times for 6. I think he's broken the Pup 3 times, which is 6. And then he spent the 1 for the Future Perfect.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's part of what makes RP good, is they have these little tiny ice that cost 1, like Pup, or 2, like Cortez Lock, that just can really tax you. They put almost no investment in it, and then the runner really has to break themselves if they want to keep going through it a lot.
All right, so you install an advance in that remote and that's behind that toll booth.
Yeah, I believe this one's the Nisei.
And yeah, if you score a Nisei with this, it's just a bummer for him.
And I'm going to for sure have to win a side game here, because he's going to click 1 Knight, click 2 Central, click 3 Run It, and maybe click 4 Run It, depending on how much money he has at that point.
Well, he needs to get money first.
That's true. His Katie Jones is tapped. Does that mean he's already used it this time?
I think he used it as his last click last turn.
Oh, okay, he just has an untapped. He's kind of trying to figure out the math now, but he's only on 5, and he has 3 on Katie. So I think I'm feeling pretty okay that he can't challenge it twice, but I'll have to definitely win the 1 game. And that'll be really big, because I could turn off Hacktivist and have a Nisei counter. But if he gets it, then he's going to be on game point.
And you lose a
yeah, I lose
Nisei.
the potential Nisei counter.
All right, well, he's going for it.
Yep. And I roll a dice here.
My favorite.
And I'm like, no, not that, not that. He's going to bet that.
You just roll until it gives you the thing that you wanted to do in the first
place.
But then you can blame the dice
if
you got it wrong.
So and I bet 2, and he bets 0. So I'm like, huge relief there. I'm really happy about that. That just will really let me...
Desperado credit?
Oh, he doesn't get a Desperado because Caprice...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, get that out of here.
All right, so this game just pretty majorly turned.
Totally. That was a really important side game.
I mean, you still have only two credits right now, but...
Yeah, but without Hacktivist, I figured I could make some more. Goes an HQ for 3.
Clicks through. Sees a Caprice.
Whatever. I got the important Caprice. I don't think I'll be in a situation to go through Toll Booth twice anytime soon. And then let alone, like, with the Caprice there.
Plays the I've had worse. Look for some kind of tool.
I'm not sure what he's really looking for, though. I guess Parasites are great, because he could clear up R&D and start attacking that. But the problem is, he's only using 1 MU, so Cortez Lock is still something he has to break, and he doesn't really have a good answer in his deck.
Yeah, you'd have to move that Knight off of it.
Yeah, or you'd have to get Data Sucker and then Mimic. And I play the Health Clinic here and res it on my turn, because I know there's the off chance that he could play another Hacktivist. He spends 2 clicks and 3 credits to trash it. I'm perfectly okay with that. And then he plays the other Hacktivist, the 3rd Hacktivist. I'm like, wow. But it doesn't really matter. If I can just draw a Future Perfect and get, have 5 credits to advance it, I'm pretty gold.
Yep, and there you go. There's a hedge fund.
Yep.
So you're in a pretty good spot here financially. Yeah, all you need is just that 1 Future Perfect.
The problem is he's already scored one of my 2 Future Perfects, so I don't know if I'll be able to actually find one, or if I'm going to have to score 4 agendas myself. But he's got 1 credit.
Where's that imp?
Yeah, that would have been pretty handy. Looks like I top decked it. And I'm feeling pretty safe here. I don't know what he can do on 1 credit. Even with 9 on Katie Jones, it's still pretty dicey for him, because he's going to have to win 2 side games.
He's going to have to take Katie,
and then run Archive,
and then run twice.
Yeah, and he'd have to win 2 side games in a row. But he has enough money to break the Toll Booth twice, but he doesn't have enough money to actually play Psy. Or I guess he would get 1 from the Archives run if he did that, but I could just bet 2 both times and be fine. He wouldn't have
No.
enough money. So it looks like this is pretty much done. He just maybe doesn't see it yet. Or he's maybe thinking if there's something he has in his hand that can better the situation.
Praying.
Right. Maybe he's thinking of if he can make it into R&D without dying or something to Cortez lock. I mean, it's kind of hard too because he's only on 3 points. So it's the odds of him being able to get a win off of Centrals is almost nothing against RP. Like he knows that he'd have to score like 2 Nisei Mark IIs off of Centrals.
The top, yeah, just running straight through the Cortex lock.
Yeah, I mean maybe if he does I've had worse in hand, that would allow him to face Cortez lock without breaking it and
just have the most awesome ending of a game ever.
That would be pretty epic. It'd be very thematic with Ed Kim.
I don't think he has anything in his hand. He's got
like
the 2
Breakers and Parasite. He's gonna go for it though, because really, what else can you do?
I think he knows that if that is a future perfect, then he's done. If it's an NEPD, he's not going to be able to get in there and trash it. Trash is a hedge fund.
Yeah, so. But that doesn't really matter right now.
You can also just end the run because you have the Nisei counter.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested why he didn't go again though, to just see if he could get an agent. I guess it doesn't really matter because even if he got a Nisei there, he didn't want to let him win with no clicks left.
And you could have just ended the run.
Right.
Just to.
That's true.
Just to be a bad person.
Or just save his time. I'd probably let the Cortez block hit him first.
Let him pay for the pop.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And just end it. All right, so that was a pretty quick one. It's like 40 minutes shorter than a lot of the Replicating Perfection games that I've played.
Yeah, who says RP's slow? It can go fast if it needs to.
All right, well, good game.
Thank you.